Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James.
And I'm Ryan.
And we have some news coming at you this week between elders' letters, cults, Massimo Introvigne back again in action, and something about a scholarship for Extra Jehovah's Witnesses. What's that all about?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Let's roll that intro and get into this.
Dee skeets babadi boop boop skeet daddly loo dop deep skeetly boop boopy doop.
Starting off with the beatboxing today.
We were getting into the rhythm.
That's right. That song is just, even after hearing it so many times, it's still so catchy. Like,
it's because we're investigating.
I know, I feel when I hear that song, like from the first time, I'm like, this song is just perfect for the show. It's got like that Pink Panther vibe.
We got the pink, baby. We got the pink.
That's right.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, you made it. Wakey, wakey.
Good morning, Mom and Dad.
Good morning. Oh, and we got our Joe and Fran here. Our beautiful Joe and Fran.
Yes, we do. Nice to have you all here this morning with us as we bring you another segment of Apostate Weekly.
It's another one in the books, in history books.
Well, wait till the show's over before you start saying it's in the history books.
We might be history in a minute.
We've got the future history coming for you. How about that?
That's right. Well, we're not going to prophesy. So if that's what you're expecting, that will not happen.
Well, actually, years ago, and I'm talking 24 years ago, we went to the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas, and they actually had a timeline that they called the history of the future, where they incorporated from the first landing on the moon to the Star Trek timeline of space and exploration and stuff. It was pretty neat.
Cool. A lot of exploring to do.
That's right. Well, we have some topics to explore this morning, so let's get into one here. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. We got a lot.
So where would you like to start off this morning? You want to start off with our elders letter?
Sure. Why not? Let's do that. Let's kick it off with a banger. So we know that the J-Dubs always issue out these letters to the elders, and they're not something that normal folk, the common folk, plebes like you and I are allowed to see, because there's always some kind of secret information that we're not smart enough, you guys. We're not smart enough to be able to understand this. So it's only for the elders, because, they got God's Holy Spirit. So I would like to read to you number 6. This is about tithing, a resolved monthly donation to the worldwide work. Well, what else would you call that but a tithe? The resolved monthly donation referred to in the announcement for congregations is based on a monthly per publisher amount suggested by the branch office. The per publisher amount listed on the JW Hub webpage containing the link to this announcement should be multiplied by the number of active publishers in the congregation to determine the suggested monthly donation for your congregation. So see, they have a formula for you. God provides. The body of elders should then review the congregation's financial obligations, including any monthly contribution to a Kingdom Hall operating committee, and determine whether the congregation is in a position to donate the suggested amount or more. If the suggested amount would impose a hardship on the congregation, a smaller amount should be determined. The monthly donation agreed upon by the body of elders should be presented in a resolution to the congregation for approval. Please note that the resolved donation should be sent on a monthly basis and not as a single amount for the service year. This to me is antithetical to who the Jehovah's Witnesses claimed they are, however you want to present it. How do you now require a monthly imposition,
Tithe.
but it's supposed to be voluntary donations? That's what they told us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, okay, well, let me just share in case there's anybody who are not familiar with the Jehovah's Witnesses and are like, well, what's wrong with supporting the organization that you're attending the meetings? Honestly, I understand needing to pay for certain bills, expenditures, whatnot. That makes a little bit of sense, sure. But Jehovah's Witnesses don't practice tithing because their work is financed by voluntary donations. Does that letter to you sound like a voluntary donation?
No, because if you ever sat inside a Kingdom Hall when they passed a resolution and they would say, all in favor, raise your hand. The whole congregation would raise their hand, right? And then they'd say, all who oppose. I never once saw anybody raise their hand in my entire time being a Jehovah's Witness.
Why would you want to be the odd man out? Right?
So interestingly, too, I was reading ahead. You sent me the link, so I was able to actually read the letter myself. And I scrolled down a little bit further, and there's another section on this resolved monthly donation for the worldwide work part. And it's talking about what they use these funds for. Okay.
Right.
And it says such activities include renovating and constructing kingdom halls and assembly halls, caring for incidents at theocratic facilities, including those involving natural disaster, fire, theft, or vandalism, providing technology and related services, and assisting with the travel costs of selected special full-time servants in foreign service who attend international conventions. What they also left out on this was also for paying for lawsuits that come against us all the time.
Because they happen to be sued regularly because they're hiding child abuse. They actually
Yes.
lost millions of dollars because they are no longer a registered organization in Norway, and other places are starting to crack down on them. I wonder why. Why are they not mentioning that this tithe will go towards that work?
Now, we were talking about this before the show, and so we're not quite clear on this next thing here. So take this one with a grain of salt. You and I both watched the same Kim and Mikey video on the Elders Letter.
Yes.
And there was something mentioned about how if the congregation doesn't meet the amount of tithing that they're asking for, then one of the more well-to-do elders in the congregation is supposed to pick up the slack, so to speak, and make sure that they give the full amount. Which,
Yeah.
tell me how that's not coercion either. So that's going to become extremely unfair to, let's say there's a brother who is well off in the congregation and he's in a poorer congregation and he has to pick up the slack every month because nobody is able to afford even what they asked for.
So the congregation has a formula they're supposed to follow. So many publishers times such and such number equals this is the amount you're supposed to pay. What happens if you lose your job all of a sudden and you can't pay that amount? Are the elders of the congregation now having to cough up the amount that you don't have because you put up your hand and said, I resolved to pay this amount?
Yeah. I could almost see like an Office. You ever see the movie The Office
Oh, I love
situation?
that. Yes.
I just watched that
Funny.
again the other day. Yeah, brother so and so, I'm gonna have to ask you to pay your tithing this
My
month.
stapler. Can I please have my stapler? That's my stapler, the red stapler. I was promised I'd have a red stapler and I never get cake. Can I please have a piece of cake? Every time there's a birthday, I never get a piece of cake.
I love that fucking movie.
Oh, and by the way, Ryan, you're not wearing enough flair.
it. Actually, you know what? I just had my apostate. Oh, here it is. My apostate. Here's my
The
flare.
minimum amount is 37 pieces of flare.
I don't have quite enough to be a JW. You have to have all kind of
And
pizzazz
do you
and
want to
flair.
be known as the one doing just the minimum?
Do you only want to tithe the minimum? Come on, you guys. Don't be cheapskates. I wonder if they can substitute money for you've been meatballed.
Well, remember that one broadcast? They said if you want to donate coconuts, you could. So yeah, Sam, you can.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that. What in the world is happening to this organization?
Could you imagine seeing somebody dropping meatballs in the contribution box?
This is all I have. I
Pour
brought
lots of sauce on them.
I brought the salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But this is wild to me because it's against everything that I was ever taught as a youngster. We gave from the heart as Jehovah's Witnesses. Nobody had to require us to do anything. Everything we did is because that's the love and respect that we had for Jehovah and his one true organization.
Yeah.
And that was all just a facade.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's done under duress.
Yes, this is definitely not the religion you and I grew up in anymore. They may still have some of the same basic theology, but they are not the same.
Good job, Sam.
Yes. Now, don't forget to do your job later, Sam, at about the 8:25, 8:30 mark, okay?
Yes,
Well,
please.
1:25, 1:30 for you because you're in England.
Oh, shit, that's right.
So there, I did the time conversion for you already. So
wow, good job, James. Bravo. You know how to add. Now, can you please give your tithe since you know how to add? now that you know how to add?
Well, that I also know how to subtract too.
It doesn't go just one way.
Damn
now, isn't
right.
that interesting? Why is it that you have to always give into the organization? Why can't you withdraw? If for whatever reason you did lose your job and you needed to pay a bill, why isn't there a monthly pool that you can take from, especially if they're saying that this money goes to specific things, procedures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, wouldn't the things that are happening at the congregation level be a necessity to cover for their congregants?
But see, that's just the thing. You'll always give money, but they'll never give you any back.
Mm-mm.
No matter how much you need it, no matter how good of a JW you are, you know, unless you're on one of their allowances because you're a special full-time servant of some sort, you don't get nothing from them.
It's so wild, y'all. But please go check out Kim's video because she gets a lot of insider, like people on the inside and on the outside sending them stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they might have more information over there in regards to what's supposed to happen. Maybe there is information somewhere that says the elders have to cough up that amount. But it's pretty obvious that the implication is there.
Yeah.
If there's a deficit, move along. No, let's move along. No, you didn't.
Yeah, let's move along because we got quite a few stories to cover here. And so,
right.
So we know we've been talking lately about the New Zealand, the report that came out of that for the Jehovah's Witnesses, and just recently we've talked about this guy before, Massimo Introvigne, and he writes for this website called Bitter Winter. Now, if you haven't heard of it, you're not missing anything, I promise you.
Bitter Winter. It sounds like he's depressed.
But like his style of writing is so biased and you can see right through it from the get-go. Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's his article on his report for the New Zealand Royal Commission. And right away in the title, he says a faulty report. Well, you're already trying to skew the opinions by putting that in there in the title of your article. And right here, he says it's a biased and unscientific methodology, a selective use of sources, and religious prejudices led to unreliable conclusions. Yeah.
He makes it sound like it's an opinion piece.
Yeah, I know.
Like, dude, these are factual happenings.
And if you look at the work, I mean, we talked about this last week in our show too. If you look at the work that the commission did do, they took from ICSA, they took from Australian Royal Commission, and they took their own information and compiled all those things together to make their reports on the witnesses and the other organizations as well that were part of these commissions. So they're getting tons and tons of reliable data to use for their findings, right? Now, right here, he says the case study, and he puts case study in quotation marks.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? The case study?
Yeah, of the Jehovah's Witnesses is a methodologically faulty and religiously biased, which makes its conclusions unreliable. Although current members of the witnesses were also heard and the organization submitted comments, the conclusions of the report appeared to be based on three main sources. First, the testimonies of a small number of apostate ex-members are discussed. And he says, apostate is not an insult. It is a technical term. And here's where he gets this wrong. It is the technical term sociologists use to designate the minority of ex-members who turn into militant opponents of the group they have left.
Militant? They're calling me militant?
Yeah. I just realized I should make it a little bit bigger so everybody can read it.
Yeah, I like blew up my YouTube really big just so I could read as you were reading.
Sorry, you should have just told me. I would have.
It's okay. I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm like gobsmacked, y'all.
Yeah. And then the second source consists of articles by anti-cult critics of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Some of them are part of an organization calling for the legal repression of the Jehovah's Witnesses and other groups, and were active participants in a recent international anti-cult gathering. Now, if you want to know what that's about, there is, I forget the name of the group, but it's actually a group that specializes in cults, and they actually had their gathering recently in New Zealand.
Okay.
We actually get invitations in the mail to it. I haven't gone to one yet, but that is an actual thing. But their way of putting it is it's a very good way of trying to skew your readers' opinions and sway them to your specific intended purpose of what you're trying to make them believe.
It's just the wording, James. Like
Yeah.
those weasel words, he does the exact same thing that the organization does. Oh, apostate is just a sociological term when people are militant against the organized. Like, bro, are you the victim?
Yeah.
Millions of children have been abused, and homie is the victim. The organization is the victim against us who've been abused. How dare I educate people?
Yeah.
That makes me militant.
And how dare you ex-members stand up and speak out about the abuses from this organization?
Right. And once you use that word apostate, like I know that we use it because we're taking control back, right? We're taking our power back from the word. But when the organization uses that word as well as people like Massey asshole, it's an intentional like trigger to your brain to just turn off your thinking. You're unable to cognitively assess the situation and take in information. You literally just turn off.
Yeah. You do. And that's the whole point of those words, is to turn your brain off, to not even look at what it actually is.
Yeah, it's just an immediate like, "Oh god, I can't look at this. I don't wanna see that. I could get in trouble, or demons could get into my brain
Yeah.
and mess up my thinking."
And for anybody who ever watches these videos in the future that has never been a Jehovah Witness, think of like if somebody were to say you're going to go to the ghetto, what kind of what kind of impression do you get when you hear that word? That's what people get when they hear the word apostate for people who have left religion.
Yeah, yeah. It's a way to dehumanize people and to
Yes,
demonize us. We're no longer human beings with thoughts, emotions. We are just evil, inherently evil people who only want to see the destruction of the organization for what? Wh- I truly don't get it. What has made us so angry?
yeah.
It's just nothing? No reason, I guess?
Now, this last part, if you want to be angry,
I
get
think
ready.
I think he's one of their, like, backers, because he's always going to bat for them.
He's a paid apologist.
Right.
That's what he is.
Exactly.
And he
Exactly.
doesn't just do it for the Jehovah's Witnesses. He does it for other cults too.
Yep.
Anyways, ready to be pissed off even more?
Please piss off me. Don't piss on me.
Okay. So the third part here, he says, consists of the previous reports by the Australian Royal Commission, the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse in England. And he says criticism by scholars of the Australian report is ignored, and its conclusions are summarized in a simplistic way, dangerously close to the statements that led Belgian and French government bodies to be found guilty of incorrectly representing the issue of child sexual abuse among Jehovah's Witnesses by courts of law in their respective countries. For example, the New Zealand report claims that the inquiry has not seen any evidence of the Jehovah's Witnesses referring sexual abuse allegations to police during the inquiry period in Aotearoa, New Zealand. This is consistent with inquiry findings in Australia. However, in the Australian case of the 1006 case files that the Jehovah's Witnesses provided to the Royal Commission, 383 had been reported to the police at the time they had happened, and 161 had resulted in convictions. Even if those numbers are true, it's still not nearly enough out of 1,006 mother effing cases.
Right. The preponderance of the evidence suggests that there is a system where they withhold information or they are afraid to go to the proper authorities to tell them about child abuse. Is
Exactly.
that not a pattern to you? Now, if this was like 75% was reported, I'd say like, okay, they just have a little fixing to do.
Right.
Like you
This
said,
is
look at those numbers.
this is more like 75% is unreported.
Exactly. It's the other way.
It's the other way. So, I'm sorry, like if I have 50-50 chance, 60-40 chances, I feel better about a 60-40 chance than I do a 75-25 chance.
Right. That's a big difference, y'all. When you're talking
Exactly.
percentages, that's a real no, thank
Yes,
you.
exactly, Jonathan. Last time I checked, 30% is a big old F. In
It is a
every
big old
grading
fucking
system,
fail.
it's a big old F is right.
Wow, James, this really I might have to read that myself today and do a video
Yeah.
on it because he's really pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, he is just he's a piece of human garbage.
He
The way he reports.
bro, garbage. Fucking garbage. How about you go talk to those 300 cases that were reported? Talk to those children and see how they feel. How long were they ignored? That's the problem. I
How about you
guarantee
go talk to the ones who didn't get reported?
right. And why is it? What
Yeah.
was the reasoning? Did you care? Did you investigate? Doubt it.
No. I mean, I try to be unbiased as I can. I'm going to have biases in my reporting, of course. I'm human.
Of
I have
course.
biases.
Of
And I
course.
know I do.
Me too.
But when you purposely put all those biases in an article in word form to purposely sway people to your biases, that's where we have a problem. His reporting is trash. He should lose. He has no credibility whatsoever.
He's lost all credibility. Truly. That's the perfect way to put it. I could never trust anything that homie says.
No. And the only reason I bring this up is because reports like that are out there trying to skew people's views and opinions on these subjects.
That's his job. That is his number one job. Did he tweet this, or did you happen to just go to Bitter Winner yourself?
I Googled Jehovah's Witness news, and this is one of the articles that came up for this week.
I did tell you guys that he blocked me on Twitter, right?
No, I didn't know that. Oh,
He blocked me. Mhm.
I should go follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, because I was tweeting at him. Homie blocked me with a quickness. So he's not even open to listening to militant apostates like me because he is allowed to turn his brain off. I mean, but he knows what he's doing. That's the difference. He's doing this intentionally. J-dubs don't even realize that they're programmed for their brains just to shut down.
Exactly.
Wow.
All right, let's move on. You want to go on to talking about your JW?
Uh-oh, you froze. What did you say?
Said, did you want to go on and talk about your JW hub?
Oh, yeah. Could you just pop that up for me?
Yeah.
James signed up for the JW hub because I never did that in order to just kind of see what it looks like how you're supposed to tithe.
And just so you know, y'all, I did it all for the nookie.
Look. Fred Durst. He signed up as Fred Durst on the JW set. So you can take that cookie and stick it in your
For those like my parents who don't know, I'm talking about a rock group. And the lead singer's name is Fred Durst. So
JW Hub. So right there where it says donations, what does it look like there?
Well, Ryan, it looks like you can choose a donation option, whether you want to do it for the worldwide work, your congregation, your circuit, your convention, branch construction, or world headquarters audio video construction.
Oh.
And if you look down below that, you can manage your online donations. You can edit your monthly donations, view receipts, edit payment methods, view receipt details.
And it's not a tithe whatsoever because this is voluntary that you sign up to hand over a monthly amount to the organization.
I mean, I signed up for this a while ago and I forgot about it, but I'm glad I saved my username and password on my computer so I could just log right into it. But I mean, this is just so they're so becoming like other religions that they've always denounced. It's ridiculous.
It's like they're following their playbook.
Yeah. But they label it differently. So it doesn't sound like we're part of the other religions because we're still the truth, you know. Mm-hmm. But please give your monthly donation to us and make sure you pledge this amount every month, but it's not a tithe.
No, not at all. And I did put the link to that tithing article if anybody's interested. Not that you'd want to read it because I'm sure you already know what it says. JWs don't tithe, but it's just the hypocritical cracks me up.
Yes, it does.
So there it is, y'all. If you want to sign up for JW Hub.
Yeah, go sign up. If you can't use Fred Durst as your username now because that's already taken.
Damn it, you already took rude.
But you can be other members of the band. We can start a band.
I'm just going to be the cookie.
And somebody want to volunteer to be the nookie?
Who wants to be our nookie?
You know who I think wants to be our nookie is the compassionate apostate.
I like that idea. That sounds good.
He's our nookie.
He's our
I
nookie.
voluntold you, man.
Voluntold you to do it. Voluntold. That's a great word. Voluntold.
Oh, that's a term we use at work all the time. You've been voluntold.
Right. But that perfectly encapsulates it.
Yep.
You want Jehovah to love you, don't you?
Oh,
You want to
man,
make it into the new system, don't you?
All right, Hulk.
Yeah. I'm not going to rip my shirt off. It'll get a little inappropriate quickly.
I mean, the ratings might go up, but you know.
Or they could fucking go down, bro.
Okay. Did you have any other stories for us today?
No, I mean, you guys, I always have like news I can tell you when it comes to like Palestine and shit like that. I will tell you, I just watched a video of a IDF soldier who tied a baby and a woman up in a building, and then they set the building on fire, and he was singing. It's on Twitter, you can watch it. It's really gross. Because he posted it publicly. But after he set the building on fire, he was singing while you could hear the baby and the woman screaming, and died in the fire.
And Sam just reminded me to put the Discord link in the chat. I just dropped it in there for you. Thank you, Sam.
Oh, yes. Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to go on to another story. I got two more stories real quick here.
Sure.
So the first one here is, it's actually about a cult in Kansas City. And this is the United Nation of Islam cult in Kansas City. And they have been running in this area since 97. And they have some pretty screwed up shit going on in this. And of course, they came to be recognized as a business organization.
Oh, that sounds typical.
Right. And that's how they get the government to give them money and to basically overlook a lot of the activities that they do, because they're a business, and we in your town, and we're Islam, we're peaceful people. And now, I'm not saying every Islam is a bad person or nothing, but when you got cults like this in these cities, if anybody's seen the Scientology and the Aftermath show with Leah Remini and how Scientology took over the city of Clearwater, Florida, this is kind of similar, but this is much worse in some ways, because there are people who are connected to this cult that are going to be going on trial for allegations of the group forcing children as young as 8 to work without pay. They also beat their children. They deny them health care. They force them to eat strict diets. But this is a business, y'all.
Right. It's just a business.
It's just a business. So this is a long article. They actually lay out where their buildings are throughout the city. On the map, you can see it here. Information on this group and, what they're doing. This cult was actually featured on A&E's Cults and Extreme Belief show too. So
maybe that's where I saw it, because I feel like I had heard this story before. That might be where I saw it.
Yeah. And so you can see with all this going on, for how long it's been going on, that they haven't had anything come down on them. And now the crap is starting to hit the fan. So if y'all want to check it out, the link for this article is in the description as always. Please check it out, because I didn't really want to go into a whole lot of details on this because it is sick, like Culty was said. But yeah, this is just bad.
Yeah, I mean, y'all, I'm happy for people to practice their religion. I will never try. I couldn't if I tried. Even as militant as I am, I couldn't take away your religious beliefs. That's between you and God, y'all. But conforming to some weird ass rules that some dudes made, fuck that shit. No.
Like, don't take a blood transfusion.
Right. Let your child die, and it sounds
Yeah.
like you're not letting children get medical treatment and eat the proper nutritious food, etc. So,
I mean, you remember just a couple weeks ago we talked about a teenage girl whose parents denied her health care and she died because of it.
yep, it
So
happens all the
these
time.
cults are real. They're harming children. They're harming people. They're harming societies. That's
Yeah.
why we need to bring awareness to these cults at all costs. Maybe not at all costs, but at a lot of costs, and expose them for what they are and get legal action taken to remove their statuses of religion and everything, so they're not getting money from our tax-paying dollars to support them in their efforts of their abusive natures.
Exactly. That's what frustrates me. So we're paying for this crap.
But I do have one final thing, and it's actually a good story, and I wanted to end the show on a highlight for y'all. So,
Yay!
as former Jehovah's Witnesses, we were all told that we shouldn't get higher education, that it's of the world, and besides, why would you want to go to college when Armageddon's right around the corner?
Makes
You
no
know,
sense.
back in 1968, right? That article in the Awake. I'm
Still
my
alive till 75.
my parents actually were telling me about that and how impactful it was on them as younger people when in the org. And here we still are. Armageddon hasn't come, and they lived their entire working careers without being able to go to college. So the good news is we have somebody here. I found this on Reddit and I went to the website, and this is called the Make the Truth Your Own Scholarship. This is a person going by the name Charitable Apostate. And when you scroll down here, this is what they say. Many former Jehovah's Witnesses do not have family support or the financial resources to pursue higher education. The cost of tuition, textbooks, supplies, and living expenses makes it difficult for the average student to afford a degree without outside help, whether in the form of scholarship or student loans, let alone a former Jehovah's Witness who's left the group. They are offering a $700 scholarship.
Dang.
You can see it right there. It's going to be awarded to one person. Now, here's what you got to do. In order to get this scholarship, you have to write a short essay or submit a short video in response to the prompt below. And they give you some prompts: selection criteria, ambition, drive, and impact. Okay. And here's the essay topics they have down here. Reasons for leaving. What specific factors or experiences led you to leave or consider leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses? How did these factors influence your decision? Personal growth. How have you evolved, or do you hope to evolve as an individual since leaving or contemplating leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses? What personal values or beliefs have you developed or are you developing? Support systems. Who or what has been or will be most supportive position or decision? How did or will these support systems contribute to your success and well-being? And they want a 500 to 1,000 word essay on this topic. The application date is by November 30th, 2024, and they will announce the winner on December 30th, 2024. So if you know anybody who is wanting to go to college and could use a little extra help and needs a scholarship, please share this with them and give them a chance to make their education their own with this scholarship.
It's awesome. Whoever did that, thank you. You're a great person.
Yes, absolutely. So I thought that was a bit of good news. It's nice to see somebody out there helping out former Jehovah's Witnesses with their education, because that is a big talking point for Jehovah's Witnesses, is not getting a proper education and being able to make it in these dire times
Very dire. The final part of the final part
of the show.
of the show. Thank you for showing us that, because there might be somebody in our audience who is interested in going to school or is in school and could use the cashola, $700. That's a nice chunk
Yeah.
of change.
Oh yeah. And especially in America, college ain't cheap. So
Is it a Reddit person doing it, or did you just?
I found the post on Reddit, and the link to the actual scholarship is, they had that posted in the Reddit thread. So that link for the actual scholarship webpage is in the description below.
But you don't think the person who posted it on Reddit is the person who's offering the scholarship?
I actually couldn't tell you.
Yeah, somebody probably just found it and shared it. So I don't know that we know.
And even if it is the person, great. If not, great. Either way, it's great. It's a great thing. You know, I hope somebody who gets it is able to use it and pursue the education they want and live a happy and healthy life outside the organization.
Exactly. Grow personal growth and freedom to think for themselves.
That's right. So, well, with all that being said, we thank you everybody for joining us this week. It was a whole lot of information to go over, and we'll be at it again next week. So hope to see you at the same bat time, same bat channel, with the same batty people on your screen.
That's right. And don't forget to apostate your way.
That's right. I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys. We love you. Thank you.
Bye.